You're a little robot-y too, by the way.
Sick.
Oh,
he said he's going to make us live. Did you see that Nintendo is going to, if you bought a Switch like from July 17th onward, you can get you can like send it in and be like, hey, give me a new Switch, like with the updated battery life and stuff.
Huh. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's good of them.
Legit.
But you have to pay for shipping, but that's like a small price to pay for better battery life and apparently better performance.
And at
better
this point,
performance?
At this point, I would totally take it. Like my battery life is bad.
It's not huge, but it's like apparently like
weird.
I think Doom doesn't like Doom 2016. I think doesn't like downscale or anything. Huh. It's just like I think it's 540, 720 like constant. Weird. And like a lock frame rate, whereas it does like a lot of variable scaling.
I wonder if they're testing some stuff for the Switch Pro with this release that is like very marginal, so that they can push it forward in a larger redesign.
I mean, part of it's got to be like old stuff is just like it doesn't make sense to keep producing it because it's like more expensive to produce the old stuff than just use like more current stuff, right?
Totally, but I guess that's what I mean is like if their production facilities are ramping up to make more powerful hardware, you know.
Maybe. I bet it's like this. I bet is just like a cost saving thing, and like it probably helps get ready for the Switch Pro, but I don't know. Who knows? We'll see.
It's interesting. I don't. I mean, it doesn't sound like it's that big of a deal, so I'm not like angry about it. But man, I don't like that. That's this stuff. The like. Well, I bought my Switch. Let's put it this way: either I wish that it was the full on. Every 2 years, there's just a new one that's like marginally better, or I wish that we would not do this. Like, well, I got my Switch in 2019, so it's a little bit better than the one you got in 2017.
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, Nintendo's kind of been doing that for a while.
Oh, I know. Yeah, and I've never liked it.
DS, frankly. DSi, etc.
Yeah, I just because the Switch is like a TV console, like it's in this weird spot between the two, between TV console and handheld, and like we got it with like the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4 Pro, but like Nintendo's never done that with their consoles. They've only done it with the handheld, so it's yeah. And like, you know, that's like a DS, you know, like a DSi to like the Nintendo Switch Lite or whatever, the Switch Lite, the Light Switch, and
Light
not,
Switch.
Yeah.
God.
I
agree.
I don't think there's any gaming news worth talking about.
Well, there was the Subnautica G2A stuff, if you really want.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
I love the Subnautica devs.
But they also kind of got called out in that the timelines were wrong for what they were saying. From what I saw.
I don't know. Because I know that I don't know. That whole G2A thing's a mess.
Yeah. Shantae 5 has an official title.
There's 5 of those?
Yeah. Shantae 5 will be called Shantae and the Seven Sirens.
Okay, well, way to like jump ahead 2 games.
Yeah, right.
Like, come on. What about like the 5 philanderers? Shantae and the 5 philanderers.
And the 5 hair whips.
Shantae and the 6 sixes. The 76ers. She joins the NBA.
That'd be pretty good. Then 3 should have been Shantae and the 3-6 Mafia.
Exactly. All right.
Okay.
Are we ready?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Maybe. Okay. Hello and welcome to Gaming Fyx episode 83 on this August 17th, 2019. I am your host, Andre Cole. Take out your customer care cards as Alex Jolina rings you up.
If you redeem this at our customer service department, you might get entered for a free bike.
Oh, great. And Pat, I'm going to need a cleanup on aisle 2.
I don't think I have anything fun store related. The produce section is arguably the worst place in a grocery store to work. Fun fact.
I don't doubt that.
And
working in the garden center sucks too, but at least that's only like 3 months a year.
that's Allison, who is running stock from the back.
Alex, can I have that bike? I'd like a free bike, please.
Yeah, get the hell out of here. Run away fast.
There's an Eddie Izzard joke about how when you walk into a supermarket, the first thing you see is always like the fresh fruit and vegetables. So you think, oh, this is a fresh store. Everything in here is fresh. You don't walk in, you see like toilet paper and like toilet cleaning supplies. So you think, this is a poo store. Everything in here is made of poo.
I remember that joke.
I would go to a poo store just to see.
I mean, that's you.
There's a poo museum in Tokyo if you want to go to Tokyo.
Interesting. There's a bug zoo here.
A bug zoo.
Yeah.
Do you have to go in with the bugs? Is it that kind of zoo?
It's not a petting zoo.
Okay, it's not like a bug pet. Okay. Okay. I could be into just like looking at some bugs.
All right. If you were to make... Okay, Allison, continue.
Oh, although there are places like at the state fair near me, there's like that butterfly like zoo sort of, but you go in and it freaks me out, and my sibling made fun of me because it freaked me out. And I'm like, don't touch me, butterflies. I don't want to be touched by all of you.
Yeah, I recently did I like the butterfly. There's a butterfly garden or house at the Woodland Park Zoo in Seattle, and I enjoy it, but I can see it being uncomfortable.
Yeah. It looks like I might be incorrect. It looks like there are portions of the bug zoo where you can touch. So
see, that's the thing I don't really think I want. I mean, depends on the bug, I guess. Like if it's like ladybugs and stuff, that's fine.
yeah, ladybugs are great.
Or if it's like an aquarium type thing where you know how they might have like very specific like stingrays that you can touch. Like if there's a very specific area where it's like, here's a bug that's not going to like make any quick moves for you to touch.
Known for its sloth.
Yeah, like a bug, like I don't know, like a slow bug that you could just like pet.
Snails. There's hermit crabs. It looks like.
All right.
Go to the Bug Zoo restaurant, have some escargot, and it's great.
I don't want to be in a room where there's no glass and this large fuzzy tarantula. That's the thing.
Okay. I'm going to hijack this conversation and ask, if we were to make a video game zoo, what would be in it?
Oh, well, I mean,
what would the exhibits be like?
That doesn't need to be a hypothetical.
No, I mean, like
Bubsy 3D
like
exists.
I mean, like we're taking animals from all sorts of games. Which animals are you putting?
All right.
Oh, so not like how? So you're not asking me for the plan of my Planet Zoo.
No, not your. I'm not asking for your Zoo Tycoon like layout.
Well, I'm less interested in this conversation then.
Oh yeah, and I came up with the original idea of just having the movie We Bought a Zoo, except instead of the animals, there's Matt Damon's in the zoo.
And it's like a horse running the Matt Damon zoo?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Come over here and see Matt Damon. I have not seen that movie, but I just think it's...
Is there just someone screaming and running through the zoo saying, "Oh my God, that's Jason Bourne"? Like at every exhibit?
Yeah, it's all... There's none of the other actors. It's just like a bunch of Matt Damons.
And then when you leave, they say, "How do you like dem apples?"
God, I don't like that at all.
Something about
Do they have a battle royale at the end of the day, and then they all die, well, except for one.
That's a Highlander.
But my zoo would just be Dino Park Tycoon.
Okay, it's just dinosaur. No, like apes from Ape Escape, or no.
How about the giraffes from The Last of Us?
Oh, okay. So you're keeping it somewhat based in reality. Real animals, no fake animals. Or no like alien creatures. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like the easy answer is Pokemon. And fun fact,
Safari Zone.
My sibling went to the zoo and wanted to see Pokemon when they were very little.
It's very cute, but also like, yes, you do cage Pokemon in tiny balls, but I feel like putting them in zoo exhibit would be like
That's true.
wrong somehow.
They do, and it's called the Safari Zone.
No, I know, and I think the Safari Zone's kind of fucked up. But I think I would probably
can't survive anywhere else. It's conservation.
I would probably create like a Jurassic Park scenario, although we all know that it would fail because I would just put Dark Souls enemies in it.
God.
So it would
What could go
be really
wrong?
dangerous.
What could go wrong with like an exhibit of Dark Souls enemies? Like
A lot. The answer is a lot.
It's like the in Cabin in the Woods when they go into like the elevator and there's all the
Yeah.
boxes and it's just
Yeah.
that. It just,
That's kind of what I'm thinking, except they have like environments to roam around in. Well,
Yeah.
the interesting question is like, would they get agitated if all of their needs are met?
what is the need? What are the needs of a Dark Souls?
Because if you think about it, I
enemy?
mean, it's
like
kind
the
of baked,
hierarchy of need.
I don't know, but if you think about it, it's kind of baked into the story that like in Dark Souls, you are the aggressor. Like all these creatures are just kind of doing their thing. It's only because you invade their space and attack them that they fight you.
I mean, you don't always attack them first. Sometimes they
No, but I mean, the
got-
bosses.
you got
bosses-
Patches. He's aggressive.
Yeah. I'm not saying that none of them are aggressive,
Yeah.
but they're aggressive because you are entering their space. So if you gave them space and then that was like an exhibit that was their space and no one entered it, and you just sort of like threw hunks of meat in there or whatever they eat, then, you know, maybe it wouldn't be so bad.
Only one way to find out.
What would you put in there, Andre?
Oh man, I don't know. What would I put in? What wouldn't I put in there?
Sure.
Wouldn't put.
Make like a pocket dimension that just has infinite space for all video game creatures.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to Steam and just kind of look at what I got in my Steam library.
oh,
And
Captain
God.
Falcon, that's what I would put in a zoo.
it's a man.
Well,
I'll put Falco.
to be fair, we already
I'll put
have
the
Mandy in
whole-
the zoo,
I'll put
so,
the whole
like,
Star Fox crew in one exhibit, and then they can fly around and do like.
I don't know.
Dogfights.
I think there's more humanity in like Slippy's right toe than there is in all of Captain Falcon.
I'd have a Hatoful boyfriend exhibit.
Oh God. Just a
Uh,
bunch of pigeons.
Yeah.
Pretty
yeah.
cute.
But they'd all be dating. Like you could go on like a speed date with one of the pigeons.
They don't date each other.
That's well, exactly. They date you, and you go and you have like you sit down, and one flies down and has like tea with you or something. I
All
don't
right.
know.
Mm,
I got my final answer.
The robot dog from Metal Gear Solid: Rising: Revengeance.
there you go.
That's pretty good. I think my personal final answer
horse.
is Monokuma.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, okay.
That sounds like a zoo that you would not get to leave.
Yeah.
you're
I
like,
have
"I'm
not
gonna
played
go to
those
a fun
games,
day
but
to the zoo, and then he's there, and you're like, never mind.
The the most popular exhibit at my zoo is D Horse from Metal Gear Solid 5.
yes.
Do
You
it.
get to lay down under him and say, "Do it," on your face.
Or not on your face. Just you could anytime someone yells
Any part of your body you want.
or just the people, like everyone like up against the glass can yell "do it," and then he just takes it down with his hand.
It's like the equivalent of whatever the like dunking pits where you throw balls at the
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
except it's with horse
Oh
shit.
yeah. you make a ton of people lay down, and then maybe
just
he'll be
walks
hovering
around,
over one of them.
Yeah, it just they're all laying under
Children
like
can yell,
a
"Do it!"
yeah. Okay, yeah, I like this plan.
And then they go to the grocery store, which is just full of toilet paper.
Look for our Patreon, GoFundMe, or whatever we're gonna use.
I think it's going to be harder to get D horse out of. Although you could probably find a horse that can shit on command. That's got to exist. Somewhere out
Anyways,
there.
what have
in
you
the
guys
weird-
been playing?
I've just been playing Total War 3 Kingdoms. After 23 hours, I could finally say I'm feeling all right. Not great about how I play, but I'm more confident now. But
Do
that's all
you enjoy it?
yeah, I've enjoyed all 23 hours I've played of it. It's a steep learning curve for someone who does not play those kinds of games.
What
So
what is kind of nice about that learning curve is that it's not a one that you have to reclimb every time you play another Total War game. Like,
from what I've heard, this game is not like other Total War games.
well, but a lot of it is translatable still.
yeah,
I'm sure. I'm
Yeah.
sure that it's a huge, like, I'm sure that I would have more to learn jumping from the one, having played all the other ones to Three Kingdoms, because I know there is a lot more going on
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. But I would bet that if you went back and went to play like Total War Warhammer, you wouldn't have quite the same learning curve as
Yeah.
someone who picked it up from scratch.
For sure. Yeah, and like I started to branch off into some of the other characters. Like I was playing Chow Chow, which is kind of listed as the easy campaign or whatever, and he can like instigate proxy wars between other factions. Now I'm playing. Oh, who am I playing? Someone. I can't remember their first name, last name. I don't know how Chinese names work. The family name is Sun. And he gets this faction gets like heroic points as you like take over land and stuff like that, and as the more points you have, the more like the lower your recruitment costs are and like construction costs, and like they go down over each turn. Like it's like, oh, -8 per turn, but I've got like 200, so, and like it goes up in like, you know, tiers. So that's like, you know, reduce my costs a lot, and I'm bringing in like 3,000 gold per turn, so that I can like build up my army, and like I'm trying to build up a lot of space. So I'm taking over like the southern half of China right now, and Dong Zhuo's dead, and everyone's just like kidnapping the emperor and then like using them as a pawn, and then like someone else kidnaps the emperor. And then they're like, oh, wait, stop going to war with us. And then there's like 1 million peace treaties signed in one turn. And I'm like, what just happened?
So is all of this story conveyed through text boxes, or is there some kind of cutscenes? Or
there are some cutscenes, like when Dong Zhuo dies, like there's like a cutscene for that. When I assume when you win, like at the beginning, there's a cutscene. There's like things throughout. When you reach the point where you can declare yourself an emperor, there's like cutscenes, but they're pretty short and they're just kind of like stylized, like very dramatic. And I think it's the same thing pretty much every time. I don't know if there's any like story specific ones. I haven't seen them, but I've also not managed to see anyone's story all the way through yet. But I'm working on it. I think this might be the run, but we'll see. I'm enjoying my time with it though, and I think it's pretty cool. And if you're interested, give it a try. And just know that it'll take you a few times, like starting a game and going, oh no, I did not plan my cities properly at all. I did not plan for. So now this city is just got like -3 public or -11 public opinion, and I have no way to like get that down. And so the Yellow Turban Rebellion is just going to spring up like in 4 turns, and then they're going to keep doing it like every other turn. So yeah, there's a lot to juggle. But once you start to like figure out and learn how to manage it and plan for it, it becomes a lot more manageable. So Total War 3 Kingdoms seems like a good game. What have y'all been playing?
See you in another 40 hours.
Yep. I hope not. What have y'all been playing?
Yeah, Allison, what have you been playing?
Oh, okay.
Y'all listen. That's what I said. Y'all listen.
Y'all listen. That's my true name. Well, since we've been talking about it forever, I'm not going to spend too much time on Fire Emblem. Just that I finished my first route. I got emotional. And now I'm playing Route 2. So that's Black. I'm playing the Black Eagles route, and I just miss the Blue Lions so much. But I will learn to love these characters too. But yeah, no, I'm trying it on hard, so we'll see how that goes. But
should I jump in here and we'll just make this our Fire Emblem minute?
Sure, yeah, let's make this our Fire Emblem minute.
Okay, I also finished it, and I also finished the Blue Lions route. So I'm also in my second playthrough, though I haven't got to the point where I can choose a house yet. I've been doing some other stuff first. Yeah, I think the ending of that game, or the last act of that game, is really good, but the ending is pretty bad. Like it just kind of felt like it just kind of ends, and then you just kind of get some text, and then it's over.
Yeah. That would be. They leave a lot, at least in Black Eagles playthrough, they leave a lot on the table and just kind of wipe it away to like, oh, and this all gets dealt with.
Yeah, totally. Like there's some stuff where I'm like, wait, what happened with this thing that I won't spoil right now, but like it's like it doesn't even get attention. I'm like, what? Wait, but now it's just the end of the credits.
Well, I know that I was talking to Andre about like he was like, "Oh, you're going to see this reveal,"
Did you get like this big character reveal?
And I never did.
Oh.
Never. He's like, "Oh, I'm sure
it happens like midway. It happens at like the before the time skip for Black Eagles." And I was like, "Oh, that's weird," because it like that is basically like, "Oh, I made the right choice."
Right.
With, like,
whereas we don't get it at all. So so that's a big part of why I'm like, okay, I got to make sure that I play through at least Black Eagles before Game of the Year time. So that I don't get spoiled. But I mean, it's fun and I like the game a lot. So it's not like a chore or anything, but it's interesting how different each playthrough is and how I feel like each playthrough you're like, I am in the right house right now. And
I have one question for you guys before we move off of Fire Emblem Minute. For those of us who have finished, who did you choose as your romantic partner?
Edgelord, baby.
My boy Dedue.
Hell yeah. I would have picked Dedue if I could have.
It was so cute. It was adorable. I was like, that was a good choice.
Yeah. I went for Bernie, man.
Good choice.
My anxiety, bro.
The couplings were very interesting because you get to choose your life partner or whoever, and then your compatriots who got A rank support will also pair off, but like you can get A rank with multiple people. So I don't know how it determines like who gets matched with. Is it like the first person they got A rank with?
I'm not too sure.
I don't know, because I was like, I do not ship any of these. I was like, no, I specifically want these characters to pair up, and I was a little bit mad. Not mad, but
can I spoil one of the Blue Lions shippings that I got that I thought was perfect? Which was Felix and Sylvain got paired off at the end, and I'm like, that's fucking perfect.
What?
Yeah, I thought that was amazing.
Like, was it like a romantic thing, or was it just like
they were basically like best bros to the very end? Like it talks about how they died together.
There is like you can get like the two that paired off for me was that I was like, okay, was Manuela and Dorothea. It is basically pretty clear that it is like romantic.
That's awesome.
Manuela did not find love in my playthrough.
But they basically like it was really cute because it's like they rebuilt the whole the
opera company
and then then they take off and spend the rest of their lives together, and I'm like, oh, that's so cute. But then Ash and Mercedes got paired up together, and I was like, not sure how I feel. And then Felix and Ingrid, and I was like, not sure how I feel. So
I feel pretty good about Felix and Sylvain. That's all I'll say.
That sounds good. I after I'm done with all these playthroughs, I kind of just want to see every single text box that could possibly happen. I'm like, please, somebody figure it out.
Let's see. I am currently, I just finished the Battle of the Eagle and Lion. In my second playthrough, I'm playing Golden Deer. And I'm working my little butt off in order to recruit everyone that I possibly can, all the students, before I can't anymore. So we'll see how that goes.
So how is the way to do? We can end this pretty quickly, but like, is that just involve you doing a lot of faculty training or what?
It involves me doing a lot of meals with people. I've recruited, and you get like renown and stuff, and you can go to your journal and you can actually boost up your support rank with people that you already had high support with. So I could go into like Dorothy and put her up to support B, and then just like, or like anyone from Black Eagles, put them up to support B and then recruit them, except for Hubert and Edelgard. And then like Sylvain, I can do that with. So basically, I just need to work on. I think I have Ash, maybe Felix. I only have a few people I need to. I have Cyril in my party.
I'm sorry for you.
It seems like there is more to him if you play the Golden Deer.
Oh, interesting.
Well, I'll see what it is. I don't know if it's like any good, but yeah, there's some stuff related to that, and it like kind of gives me maybe an idea of where the Golden Deer storyline is going to go.
All right.
Based on like the second half of the Black Eagles playthrough. I don't know what happens in the Blue Lions one, but yeah, I don't know.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay. That's Yallison's game of the week.
Fire Emblem Minute. I also have a couple of other games that I'd like to bring up.
Oh, fine.
Yeah, sorry. I played more stuff, which is weird because for the past few weeks it's just been Fire Emblem. But one game that it's hard, like it's very interesting as a game is Kind Words, subtitle Lo-Fi Chill Beats to Write to, which is very accurate actually, but it was just released in the one of the Humble Monthlies, and I think they're going to have a Steam release eventually for it. But it's basically you go in, you're in a room, lo-fi chill beats are playing, and you can put out a letter that says like or basically a request for letters to people, just saying like, I have this problem, I would like some letters, and you can also then reply to each other's letters. So there's not going to be like a long dialogue. You can just send out the request and you can just reply. That's about it. There's a little bit of progression in that you can get stickers that you can add to the things, and each day that you play, you get a new song. So you have incentive to come back. But it's the thing that I just find is really interesting is that so far, I don't know how this will change if once that gets more kind of mainstream attention on Steam. So far, the community is just like really nice and really supportive. Like I've put out a couple of things, and I request, and I just got like the sweetest replies back. And I've been trying to send out nice things, but it is just like very chill experience of sending like positive vibes to people, which again, I don't know if it'll, like, once it gets into more hands, if that'll be more difficult, but I've just been really impressed by like, okay, this is just like a community, this is all anonymous, so there's no real, there's no way that they can trace your responses back to you. So really, like, as we know, when the internet gets super anonymous, that's when things get like shit. But that's definitely not been the case here. So I just think it's really cool, and I'm interested to see. I know that with the Steam release, they're planning on adding some extra stuff. So I'm interested to see how that goes.
Cool.
Yeah, I also installed Kind Words, and I think it's super endearing. Like, I don't know how else to put it. Like it's very simple, from an aesthetic and even from audio and everything, but the concept is really good. So
yeah, and I genuinely got a letter back from somebody that I'm like, I took a screenshot and I saved it because it was just like really, really good and really, really like one of the things like that I posted a request was like, I'm frustrated at how slow my progress is as doing art and doing music, and I got just like the sweetest response that I'm like, do I need to like print this out and put it on my piano and like with my art stuff, because it's just so good. So it's very like Alex said, it's really simple, but I definitely think it's nice to see something that's just like an overall positive force in gaming. So I was happy to see it.
Yeah, I really hope that the Steam release does not mess it up, because another game that had some it wasn't as reliant on multiplayer stuff, but it was indie and had some multiplayer stuff, ended up getting hacked and went in a bad place, was Moirai. If anybody played that, Moirai, it was really good, but you can't possibly play it now because the devs just took it down. They're like, we can't do this. So I really hope that that kind of thing does not happen to this, because it's super wholesome and great.
Yeah, definitely. The other game I played is PictoQuest, the Cursed Grids, because there's not enough Picross games out there.
This is different from the Picross game that Sam brought last week.
Yes.
Correct.
It is different. It's so the thing that got me wanting to buy it, other than the fact that when I bought it there was like a small sale, was that there's supposed to be, it's Picross plus some sort of like kind of a vague RPG feel to it. I don't want to say RPG necessarily, because I don't think that the mechanics are quite as good as I might have wanted them to be. But so basically the idea is that you're playing a character and you progress on a map screen, and each step that you do a little Picross. The justification for all of this is that the villain of the thing basically stole all of your kingdom's paintings, so you need to bring them back. There's a couple of really good elements of it. Like for example, a lot of the times when you're doing the Picross, you're actually going up against an enemy which can attack you and get health off of your little health meter. So you have to do things quick and accurately. Otherwise, your health could go away, which is then you basically, there's no real the only real consequence is that you just need to start the whole thing over, which is nice. The aesthetic of it is all really cute. And all the Picross has been pretty solid, although I do feel like the difficulty spiked up pretty quickly. I know that it got to some of the much larger grids than I'm used to a lot quicker than I thought it would. So I was not anticipating that. There's also items that you can do. I think the thing that's just most like disappointing is that when you say Picross RPG elements, I wish there was just more RPG elements. It's a lot more of a straightforward Picross game than I necessarily would have hoped. But I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just more of a personal. I would have enjoyed having more Picross or having more of the RPG elements to it. But it's a cute Picross game, and definitely something if you're looking for Picross to check out. It's just not something. It's definitely a good game. So I don't want to be like it's bad, but it's not like you must buy this. It's like revolutionary or anything. It's really not, but it's just solid Picross.
That's interesting. And this is on PC, Switch?
Switch.
Right, because it seems like it would kind of fill that nice gap that like I don't know, 10 million or You Must Build a Boat or like Solitarica kind of took up for me at least.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a solid like Picross games, but I feel like a lot of things are like saying there's RPG elements and it just doesn't have quite that many mechanics to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. You've been silent for too long, Pat. It's time for you to break your silence and tell us all about Rebel Galaxy Outlaw?
Yeah, space.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
so
the Final Frontier.
In the beginning, there was country music.
There was dairy.
There was country rock. Sure.
Hell
there
yeah.
were cows. And you had to move them across the vast reaches of space.
Yeah, you gotta truck these cows across space.
So Rebel Galaxy Outlaw is a game that I was pretty excited about coming into this year. I first saw it at PAX last year. I didn't get to play it, but they were showing footage from it, and I think it got announced around that time too. And I was a pretty big fan of the original Rebel Galaxy. I didn't finish the story in it, but I played a lot of it. And it has kind of an interesting lineage because the developers on it are people from Blizzard that were at Blizzard when the first Diablo was built. So like there's pedigree there for sure. And the original Rebel Galaxy was a really interesting game because it kind of took like the Assassin's Creed boat combat mechanics and applied those to big, huge spaceships, which is novel and really cool. I think it kind of it fell off. Like I never really connected with the story, which is why I didn't finish it because I played it for like 20 hours. But I never felt the desire to go through the story stuff. I just kind of like got stronger and went through all the different systems. And it is kind of, it did a thing that I don't love in space games, kind of in games in general, but it feels especially like a thing in space games where like, you know, you would get your Mark 1 broadside cannons, and then you would do missions, and then you would get your Mark 2 broadside cannons, and then things were really easy. So you'd go to the next quadrant, and then everything just had more health, and then you would get your Mark 3 broadside cannons. And I think that's not great space sim design, but that game was sort of, it felt unique because you were these big lumbering ships, so it was kind of like I lived with it. So Rebel Galaxy Outlaw is a prequel to that game, and instead of being like the ships you were flying in Rebel Galaxy were like the Enterprise from Star Trek or a Star Destroyer from Star Wars. Whereas what we're talking about now with Rebel Galaxy Outlaw is more like the Millennium Falcon or Boba Fett's ship Slave One or something like that. Not quite little fighters like you would see in X-Wing, but also not big, huge capital ships. So in these ships, you're in the cockpit and you're controlling it like a classic Wing Commander-esque space sim, except that it has like an open world still. And I have yet to find, like, it's fine. I have yet to find any real, like, anything that really is grabbing me. I'm playing it for review, and I'm interested to see it through for that reason, because I want to see what's there deeper in it. But so I'm not having like a bad time, but it's just feels really shallow to me, I guess. Like, to me, like the structure of the game is very, if you haven't played a space sim before, what's kind of happening is you're at a space station and you can go collect missions from a mission board. Maybe there's a story mission that you have to do. So then you go to the launch pad, you launch, you go out to space. You could manually fly places by using your like sublight engines or whatever, and then you like spend 30 seconds looking like you're flying through hyperspace, and then you get there. Or you can just hold the A button down and it autopilots you, and you're just like warp there, like fast travel to each location. And then you get there, and if it's a story mission, there'll be a little bit of dialogue. If it's not a story mission, there'll just be some enemies there to blow up. Or so far the missions I've seen, it's like there's pirates there you have to kill. Someone's stuck in a minefield and you have to blow up the mines around them, or you have to stay near a thing and while a meter goes up. And sometimes there's enemies, sometimes there aren't. It's like very simple missions, and the combat feels good and is fun, but it's extraordinarily repetitive because every enemy ship is the same, like in terms of the way they behave, just with different amounts of like different weapons and different shields and stuff. So like they all fly right at you and then launch missiles at you and then turn away and then fly away from you and then turn back around and fly at you. So it's not like, it doesn't feel, and it's not like as bad as I'm making it sound. It's not like they're just like going back and forth, but like it doesn't feel like there's a person flying it. It feels very much like it's a moving target for you to shoot at. And then the thing they've done with the controls that are great for people new to space sims, this is definitely a controller game. You can play it with like a joystick or mouse and keyboard, but it's designed for controller. If you hold the left trigger down, it actually will like kind of auto move you to having the target in front of you. It doesn't like line the shot up for you, so you still have to sort of move the cursor, and it actually feels pretty good because it's almost like it's helping you to keep the target centered, but you still have to kind of line up the shot, which is not a bad thing. I think that's like cool from an accessibility perspective. But it does mean that the combat basically it's like, it doesn't feel like you can account for a difference in power by flying really well. It feels like, if they have better missiles and equipment than you, you're going to die. And if they don't, then you're going to win. And I haven't really found any like satisfyingly challenging encounters except for like one time. And that was sort of because I didn't know what was coming. And it was an enemy with a new type of missile that I hadn't seen. So there's a lot of that. You can also trade goods from station to station. I don't think that's particularly compelling either. Like it's very basic, and there are space sims out there. In fact, like last year, one called Helium Rain came out that I got into for a bit that does economics and trading significantly better and is more interesting with it. But you can do that. And then there's the story stuff, which so far is pretty. The characters are getting better, but the writing is not like. So far, the story is there's a guy, he killed your husband, and you are after him because you want to kill him. And that's literally as much of the story as I've gotten. I don't know anything else about the backstory of this character. And it's a character that is in the first game. So maybe if I had finished that story, I'd be like, oh, well, her husband. Okay. But so far it's very like, her husband, she's upset that he was murdered and you're going after the murderer. And the opening cutscene is her, which is pretty cool, is her in a fight with the murderer. And then the murderer shoots her down and she has to start back from scratch. And so like, so far it's been like, oh, well, I can help you with a new ship, but you're going to have to do a favor for this guy. And then that guy's like, oh, well, thanks for helping me. Now you can go talk to that guy. And you talk to that guy and he's like, oh, well, the person who can help you track down the husband's murderer is this guy. It's been a lot of just like flying back and forth from person to person. I think I've only done one like actual mission with the story. And then probably like my biggest disappointment in it so far is if you look at a game like Elite Dangerous, you'll start off in like a Sidewinder, and then which is like a kind of small fighter like ship. And when you look at the list of ships that you could buy, it's like 24 entries long. And like each of these ships has unique cockpits. Each of these ships handles differently. They have different hard points. And there's it's very aspirational. Like there's no story in Elite. It's like one day I want to fly that ship, and it's going to take me 40 hours to be able to afford to buy it. And that's not appealing to some people. It's fine if it's not, but that is like the draw of these games is like one day I'm going to have that really awesome ship and I'm going to be really good at doing X thing. And then you do that, you get there and you do that thing. And then you say, well, now I want to be really good at the exploration stuff. So I'm going to get the exploring ship. And that's sort of that game. And that's part of what I like about it. This game, I believe, has 5 total ships that you can get. And it's like the basic garbage truck ship that you start with that like looks like a garbage truck.
Oh yeah, that was kind of the base ship in Rebel Galaxy, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean it was a little more ship looking. This one is the ship designs are good, I will say. The ones that are there. This one like is like kind of like a flying cube. And then there's like I just upgraded to this freighter, which is sort of like a Millennium Falcon-ish kind of thing, but not quite as circular. And then there's like a fighter class thing, a really huge freighter, and then a like the ultimate middle. Like it's just the best at everything.
The ultimate centrist.
Yeah, and like the ships are cool looking, but it's like this is it. Like there's not a lot to aspire to there, and there's not a lot to like. It doesn't feel like the stuff is super specialized. It's like, well, you can do the ship with the bigger cargo hold or the ship with more weapons. And I don't know, like
Can you put weapons in the cargo hold?
No. Well, I mean, you could trade weapons. You could transport illegal weapons.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. So like, there's just not a lot there. I think like if you played like Privateer back in the 90s and you really want the most recent game like that, sure, this is like not a bad, there's nothing in this game that is like poorly done really in terms of the quality of like the controls, the gameplay. The music is good. It's got a bunch of different radio stations. Like there's some cool stuff there, but like I just don't really have, nothing in it has seemed that interesting to me, given that there's space sims like Elite going that are like far more rewarding to learn to play, even if they're a lot more complex. There's like I was saying last night, I would almost rather just be like putting time into the newest patch in the Star Citizen Alpha, because like that feels like at least you're building some kind of knowledge set that could potentially be like useful in that game later on. Or even like No Man's Sky having just come out with a huge update, not exactly the same kind of game, but like the biggest,
I don't know, I hear it's got infinite world, so if you look long enough you'll find the perfect version of Rebel Galaxy Outlaw, right?
Well, I mean, it is the same, it is similar in that, you know, you're docking at stations and getting missions now, like that.
You can
No
trade
Man's Sky,
stuff.
you can trade stuff.
You got big ships, you got small ships.
Yeah, No Man's Sky kind of has become a space sim in addition to all of the other things that it is. But I guess like a big thing for me, like a big kind of I don't know, like bellwether for what I'm looking for. And I kind of immediately upon starting Outlaw, I was kind of like, oh, so it's like this, is when you approach a space station, Rebel Galaxy Outlaw, a prompt comes up and you hold the A button, and then you get a little cutscene of your ship flying into the hangar, and then you're in the hangar. And like, for me, I love the fact that in Elite Dangerous, when you want to dock at a station, you have to look over at your communications panel, find the station from the list of contacts, hail it, select dock from the dialogue, and then it gives you docking clearance, and then you have to fly through the mail slot and then fly around in the station and find your landing pad and physically land the ship. Like, that stuff to me is what makes space simulators cool, because it's not so much about like dogfighting in space. It's about feeling like you are the commander of like it's your ship, and that you're like living your life as like a space whatever mercenary trucker or whatever. If I wanted to do dogfights, which sometimes sure, I would play a game that's more like Wing Commander or X-Wing or something, where that's the whole focus of the game, is really well designed missions. The problem with Rebel Galaxy Outlaw so far is that because it's technically an open world, they don't have these really like carefully curated missions that are super complex. It's like go there, fly there, scan a thing, shoot some stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I am going to continue to play it, and I think that again, like if you don't want something that's super complex and you want something that's more like just like mindless, I guess, like it's definitely that thing. I just think there are better games.
What do you think of the aesthetic?
I kind of like it. It grew on me. At first I wasn't a fan. I still don't love like the star field is all the stars are like super bright blue pinpoints of light. I don't love that. It feels kind of like disorienting sometimes. But I like the ship designs a lot. The character designs are good. They have been since the first game. I think the station designs are really cool. There's like different kinds of stations, and there's like, if you go to the Nevada system, there's casino stations and they look like big roulette wheels. And then there's like gas stations you can stop at to just quickly rearm, where you don't have to go through the whole docking process. And those like look kind of like space gas stations. So that stuff is really cool. And they managed to find a way to make it look like very characterful and like it has a lot of personality without going full on Futurama, which is fine. Futurama is amazing, but it's also a comedy, whereas this is trying to be a little bit more on the serious side. So I think that a lot of that aesthetic stuff is really good. I think the voice acting is not particularly good, but that was a problem I had with the first game too. So it's not like I'm disappointed by it, I guess. And then, yeah, those radio stations are cool. That stuff is pretty neat. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it wraps. Maybe there's like, when you get to a certain system, a whole new list of ships opens up or something. I don't know. I tried to Google it and no one had any information about that. But if like, I got to 100,000 credits in about 5-ish hours, and you like kind of exponentially can start making more money as you get stronger.
Mm-hmm. So there must be more in that game then.
The most expensive ship is around 300,000 credits. So I would imagine in another 5 hours, I could probably get there with the ship I have now. And then you're topped out in terms of like getting the best ship. There's still upgrades to buy, but it's like better gun. Same thing as that I said with Rebel Galaxy's problem is it's like Mark II tachyon laser. And every station so far has had the same ships and the same weapons available. So
have you made it to like a new system or anything?
Oh yeah, I've jumped through like I've probably seen like 10 out of the 30 or so different systems spread out all across. The other thing too is like it's so weird to me, like the way you go from system to system is you go to a jump gate, and like everything is done by holding the A button. So if I start in the Texas system and want to go to the Colorado system, I leave the station, point my ship towards the jump gate. Either I have a mission that gives me a waypoint automatically, or I go into the sector map and select that jump gate as the mission or as the waypoint. And then I align to it. I hold the A button to travel there. You push the A button quickly because who cares about watching the cutscene of your ship going to hyperspace after you've seen it 20 times. And then you push the A button again because you don't care about the cutscene coming out of hyperspace. And then you're close to the jump point. You hold the A button and then it jumps you to the next system. And then you just like do that over and over again until you get to where you're going. Like, sure, you can get stopped. Like there'll be distress beacons sometimes, or there might be enemies. But so far, every time there's been enemies, I just hit the back button and then you can select dialogue options. And I select the like, hey, let's not fight. And the enemies are like, you're right, we should go our separate ways. And then they just leave me alone. And there's no reward for killing the enemy. So I don't know why you would do it. Like why you would even fight them.
Because you're a murderer.
The same thing is true of the distress beacons. Like you stop and then you usually it's like, oh, I got to kill these pirates, or, oh, I got to save this person from a minefield. And then they'll like drop a like 1,000 credit commodity or something, but it's not worth the time you would have gained by just going past them and getting your thing that you're doing done faster. So like, I don't know. There's just it just seems very thin, and like I like the team that made this game, so I don't want to come off as like this is a speculative thing. I don't understand how you make video games. It's very hard to make video games. Like they are far more talented than I am. But this game has been presumably in development since not that long after Rebel Galaxy shipped. And I don't know what they did with that time. Like there's not that many systems. The story is about 20 hours long. Like there's nothing in there that's I'm like, wow, this must have taken so much time and effort to build. It's all very like
they had to build out their 3D space. Like, I guess the first game was all one plane, like a single plane. I guess, and like changing from like that kind of design to like a full 3D.
Oh yeah. And like I said, the visuals are amazing. So I'm sure there was a lot of iteration on designing the ships and stuff. So I'm not really, again, I don't want to sound like a jerk. It's more that I'm just like, I'm trying to figure out like, is there another like half of this game hidden behind some portal somewhere? Because if not, there's just not a lot there from a like, this is the repeatable stuff you can do perspective. And that's kind of a core thing to space games. Like at first I was like, when I landed on a planet, I was like, oh, this is cool. You don't land on the planets yourself. You hold A, you're the planet, and then it gives you a cutscene of you landing on the planet. I was like, oh, well, this planet has a different, like, you get a scene of like, oh, it's on your ship on the landing pad. And I was like, oh, this planet has a different look than another one. I wonder if all of them are unique, but it's not. There's like 3 different tile sets or something that you can get. So stuff like that's just kind of disappointing to me. There's one of the kind of cool things is there's in the bars, there's like mini games you can play. You can play dice poker, slots, or pool. And the dice poker and slots are pretty cool. They're very simple, obviously, like it's a video slot machine. And the dice poker is just the same dice poker that's in like The Witcher 2. And that stuff is fun, and you can actually make some decent money playing it too. So it's not like it's a waste of time to do it. The pool at first I was pretty enamored with But then I realized that it doesn't follow any of the rules of 8-ball. Like,
So,
if
like
you
snooker or
no, it's not like snooker. It's played on a pool table, but like
Yeah.
you can hit your opponent's balls, and it doesn't
Hell
give you
yeah.
any penalty. And you can also hit the 8-ball.
I
You can
think
hit
it's
the 8
assault.
ball, and it doesn't give you any penalties. I don't know if you lose if you sink the 8-ball before you're allowed to, but like, and then when there's a fault, like if you sink the cue ball, you don't get to place it anywhere. It just goes in the middle of the table, which is not always a good thing for the person receiving the fault. So like, it was like, actually, this pool game kind of sucks. It's pretty like bare bones.
That
So
sounds like straight pool.
yeah,
Speaking of
it's
8
possible,
balls
but
and
I just
being
haven't seen that.
speaking of 8 balls and being hit in the balls, I was at a it doesn't matter where I was. It
What
was just
what
like some
age?
high
What
school.
transition?
Where is this going?
Was at a party in high school, and someone had a pool table, and this guy's like, "Oh, I'm going to show you like a cool pool trick." He's like, "Okay, I would put a quarter right here, and it's like, you know, near one of the ends of the table." And then he's like, "Okay, now you stand right here at like the end of the table, and hold a ball in each corner, and then I'm gonna hit the quarter with the 8-ball, and then that's gonna make both balls go in." So he aims, hits the 8-ball, it hits the quarter, bounces up off the table, hits the person in the balls, and then they push both balls into the corner pockets. It was magic.
Sounds like high school.
Yep. Good times.
So yeah, that's Rebel Galaxy Outlaw, huh?
Yeah.
It's like getting hit in the balls with quarter.
Well, yeah, and
I didn't get hit with the quarter. I got hit with the 8-ball.
Oh, sorry. My
I
apologies.
can't stress that, like, again, there's nothing in this game that I think is like poorly made.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that's there is of a quality. Like, if you want Privateer and you don't want to play the original Privateer, this game is totally that. And like, Privateer is a phenomenal game from the past. I would say, if you have the ability to, I think Freelancer is a better game than this game. However, Freelancer is also quite hard to find now because it was only available on disc, and it's not available on any digital services now. So like, good luck trying to find a copy of Freelancer. But yeah, I don't know. I hope there's something hidden beneath the surface that I haven't found yet. Because I would like to like this game more than I do currently. Yeah.
It kind of sounds like, unless this game has the exact like combination of things you want, then you're probably better off finding another game that does.
Totally. Yes.
Because there are other games that probably do the individual pieces better, or all of the pieces better, depending on what you're actually looking for.
Yeah, I would say that, like, if you have a lot of time and really want a stepping stone to something like Elite, that maybe you could learn some concepts from this game that are used in that game. That may be one way to look at it, as sort of like a trainer for a bigger game like that. But yeah.
Okay, cool. Does anyone have, Alex? Do you got games?
Some stuff. I got some stuff indeed. A game I have installed but have not yet played, so I'll probably finish sometime this weekend and talk about, is Eliza, the visual novel. So
And Peggy.
No, it's not Peggy 18 either. But yeah, it's a visual novel. As you know, I'm into those, so it seems like it'll be interesting. It's kind of about AI and big companies and big tech and blah 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 blah. So it seems like it's neat. I've played all of, let's say, 1 minute of it just to get it all set up, and then yeah, I'm going hiking today for like 9 hours. So after that, I will touch it.
You heard it here first. Alex is going to touch Eliza.
Yep, it's true. I am. And then another thing.
There's a solitaire game in this.
Yes, there is, to my understanding. But another video game that I've been playing since my disappointment of Dota Underlords is a video game called Dota 2.
Chess Rush. Oh.
No, I've been playing a video game called Dota 2, and in turn have also been watching the currently ongoing tournament, the International 9, which is, arguably one of the biggest tournaments in in esports. I don't know, because I think the prize pool currently is about $34 million, which is mostly crowdfunded. And it's currently in its group stages. So if you were to watch the group stages, they've had some extremely good games, but it'll probably be worth watching next week when all the main games are happening. Though for us in North America, it'll be tough because they're in China. So it basically happens overnight for us. So the grand finals, the grand finals will probably be at something like 3 a.m. or something next week. So, blah. I probably won't stay up for it, but we'll see, depending who's in it. Anyways, yeah, Dota's great. All of my issues that I had with Dota Unlords are obviously fixed in Dota. Even the RNG, because RNG is in Dota, but you can have a lot of agency over it, which is awesome. So I don't know. We could have a more deep talk about that if you wanted, Pat. But another thing I want to talk about really quickly is there was a documentary that came out last week as well. And it is called, give me one moment, it's called Against the Odds, and it is put out by Red Bull, surprisingly. And it is extremely good. I think it's also about Dota. It's about one of the most important teams from the last year or two, how they kind of had a Cinderella story with the previous international. And like, yeah, I mean, even the title gives away the fact that they win, but it's a very, very, very human story, which is really fascinating. And I think even if like, it's the kind of thing you could watch with your mom, because they barely talk about the game at all. And like the stuff they do talk about is so surface level that you don't need any deep understanding. You just basically need to know, like, they won this game and it was really hard, like that kind of stuff. But they do an extremely, extremely good job with the human story of like these two guys who've known each other for like their entire lives and have been best friends for years and years and years, and we're on a team together, and then one of them betrayed the other, kind of thing. Like it's really strong. So if you have an hour and 20 minutes, it comes heavily recommended, and with pretty much no caveats. And the neat thing is that with the current TI9, the International 2019, the same team is currently doing really well, and it's with the exact same lineup, which is
uncommon.
In esports, extremely uncommon for people to keep the same lineup for more than a year. So yeah. Against the Odds, watch it. It's free on YouTube. Dota 2, play it. It's free on Steam.
I'm gonna go to that second one and say, don't do it.
I think
you
Dota
don't
2
need to do this to yourself.
It's an extremely good game, but yeah, also it can take over your life. So yeah. So, I
public
maintain
service announcement: don't play Dota. Don't play Dota 2.
Yeah, I maintain that Dota 2 is probably the most well-designed game I've ever seen. Like it's just so mechanically insanely deep. But yeah, it is. It is a huge commitment if you actually want to play it.
Speaking of things that I would recommend people watch, I watched Glow. I forgot I watched that this week. Season 3 on Netflix. It's Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, which is, I don't know how, so it's based on like the actual events of like the creation of Glow, which was like a TV show. It was all women wrestling show. And then so they made this TV show about it, Allison Brie and a bunch of other women. And then season 3, they end up like having to go to Vegas and like running their show there. And I don't know, that was just really good drama and kind of resolution. I don't know if there's going to be a season 4. Like the way it ends, like is like a good place to end, but also it seems like there's probably more. But yeah, I think Glow is a really good show and people should check that out. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you like wrestling or not. Like it's just like a very fun show, and like the wrestling they do is like broken down in a very digestible, like easy to understand way, and it's also like people learning how to do it. So you're watching like the human stuff. They have like one episode, and I think in season 1, right? They have one episode where it's just here's the whole episode that they filmed where they got like really weird. So maybe that's in season 2. At some point they have to like get creative and they do the whole episode is the episode of the show.
So is it basically a League of Their Own but wrestling?
I have not seen A League of Their Own.
Okay.
But so it's based on like a true story about, you know, these women who made their own wrestling league, who did not know how to wrestle, and then they ended up, you know, being kind of successful. And like some of those women went on to like actually have successful wrestling careers. But yeah, there's like various wrestlers are in it as like characters. Mark Maron is one of the main characters. He plays like the director of the show, who's like a total Hollywood sleazebag. Yeah, it's good. So highly recommend that. Also, I watched the Bon Appetit Perfect Pizza series today.
Oh yeah, you did.
It was so long.
It's so good
and
though.
It made me so sad because I live in a pizza desert. There's no good pizza near me.
Yeah, that series is real dumb, especially when they're just suddenly like, oh, let's go to Italy. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, no, wait, you're not actually. This is a joke, right? You actually what? But that's the benefit of working for a magazine and stuff.
Yeah,
you know. Man, I want to go back to Italy. I want cheese. I miss cheese. There's no good cheese in Japan, really.
I have some great cheese right now.
Don't even.
What? It's not. That's not
talking about how I don't have cheese, and you're like, oh well, I've got cheese.
Well, I can send you some cheese if you need some cheese.
Is that illegal?
It might be illegal.
Yeah, I don't know how legal.
I think sending dairy over, like, I think dairy is one of those things you can't bring on a plane.
In that series, they ordered pizza. They ordered cheese from Italy.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's fair. You know what? That's fair.
I bet it's fine. I bet I could send you some cheese. You just have to pay customs on it. One of us has to pay customs.
Well, it has to be cold, doesn't it? I guess.
I mean, I don't know. The cheese that I have right now, I bet it could live for a week or so out of the refrigerator and be fine.
Man, I miss cheese. Anyway.
Yeah, you missed that. Pat stepped away for a minute. We were talking about Dota, now we're talking about cheese.
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed it. The thing I can nod my head and say, yeah, Dota's amazing, but you know so much more about that game than I do that I don't know that I have a lot to add from a like valuable knowledge perspective. I just know that it's very good and I'm not good at it.
The one thing you may have missed that I will recap very quickly is that Against the Odds movie is extremely good and anybody should watch it forever.
I haven't watched it yet, but I plan to. Probably put it on today at some point.
Yeah. Anyways, that's basically it for me.
Yeah. Does anyone have anything else they want to chat about?
So G2A.
G2A, in fact, owes us $300,000 for illegally selling our podcast.
Have any of you guys ever used a key reseller before? Like in terms of buying keys or selling, I guess? Because like I've used Green Man Gaming, which to my understanding is legit. Yeah, they're legit. Like there are some weird questionable things around them. Like when I bought Kingdom Hearts 3 through them, but like they were like, so, and that was like a PS4 thing. Like, oh yeah, we don't know when we'll have keys exactly. Like we'll have, like, we can get them, we just don't know exactly when we'll get them. So like they didn't have them at launch, so I couldn't put it in like while I was at work and then have my PS4 download it before I got home. So that was like annoying. And like, yeah, they've done some annoying things, but they're like a legit site and they have good sales and stuff. I've looked at like stuff like G2A before, but then I always this seems sketch.
Yeah, I don't think I ever have. Like I know I've never used G2A, and I think I've used something where I've bought like a random key before, but I think that was something maybe on, I forget what, it was a legit site. So I don't think I've ever used like a straight up key reseller like G2A.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it never seemed legit to me, G2A, even though it was sponsoring a whole bunch of stuff. But like, yeah. But now, because the biggest thing that came out was the Subnautica developers reaching out to them, being like, "Hey, you owe us $300,000." Because the G2A quote unquote offer was like, if you have seen losses from our service, we will We will get that. Well, we will. How do they put it? Like we will reimburse
Document
you.
it. We'll reimburse you 10 times.
10 times.
The cost of you've had to pay. But also they had like, 100 developers need to sign up to like get the program going. And
they added a whole bunch of
by
stipulations
August 17th, which was today, I think.
Yeah,
and they extended that to the end of the month, but only like 19 devs have signed up, and like no one wants to work with G2A. So,
well, I don't think anybody would want to be associated with it at this point because
19 devs are willing to, apparently. But yeah,
yeah, I don't know how deep we need to get into it, but it just seems like it's been a shitty situation, especially for the devs.
Yeah. Hey, don't use G2A or sites that seem like their codes are too good to be true.
Yep.
Because they probably are.
.com or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep. Because you're either screwing over the devs or your information is going to get stolen in some way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Oh, wait. I got one thing. Cooking Mama's coming to Switch.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And it will have a vegetarian mode.
Yes.
Which I thought was. I think that's
say that again. Sorry. What's coming to Switch?
Cooking Mama.
Oh, that's great.
And it's coming with a vegetarian mode, which I thought was pretty like that's kind of great.
I have a like weird affection for the Cooking Mama series. So,
they're great. They're great games.
Like Cooking Mama 2 in particular, I played so much of on DS. So I'm
in a world where there was just so much shovelware coming out for those platforms. Those were actually decent games.
Can we get Baby Mama back?
God.
Baby Mama.
Wasn't that it? What did they call that game? Wasn't it called
Babysitting Mama? Yeah.
Mama. That's. I think Baby Mama is a better game.
Baby Mama's a pretty good name.
That's what it should have been called.
Yeah.
No, wait, hold on. She can't. Okay, if she's a mama, she's already a baby mama, and she's a mom who's babysitting. Why isn't she just?
Because she doesn't have her own kids.
Then why is she a mama?
Well, I mean, she can be.
You see my point?
She can be a mother who is babysitting another mother's child.
True.
Yeah.
But she can also be a baby mama.
Like, are you familiar with the term baby daddy?
That's the spinoff. That's they're gonna put out. It's like the Nintendogs, Nintendo-Cats.
Are you familiar?
Pokemon Sword and Shield. It's got Baby Mama and Baby Daddy coming to Nintendo Switch.
Do you know what Baby Daddy implies?
Yeah, it's the father of your child.
Sure, we'll leave it there. Anyways, Cooking Mama's great.
And I look forward to Baby Daddy releasing on the Switch.
Oh Jesus.
That sentence is actually just like there's a lot to unpack there. So I think we're gonna leave it there for this episode.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for joining us for episode 83 of Gaming Fyx on this August 17th, 2019. Thanks for joining me, Alex. Where can people find you?
Playing with Amaterasu in my video game zoo.
Oh, great. Pat.
You can find me at PJC Plays and at PAX in 2 weeks.
Woo.
So throw a milkshake.
Twitter to at PAX.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think I have enough reach to make anyone interested.
I don't.
But yeah, I don't know if there's in the odd chance that there's anybody listening who's going to PAX, should hit me up.
If I go there and throw a milkshake at you, will you be upset?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not a fascist. I'd be more upset for what it represents for that accusation than getting milkshake on me.
If it's hot enough, like maybe. But if it's like milky and like dairy sticky.
No, yeah, hot. No, thanks. No.
Okay, but is it like? Does it always have to be like pouring it on you, or could he just be like, have a milkshake?
Oh, if you want to give me a milkshake, I will never turn one down.
Throat.
That's a weird sentence that I don't think I like very much. No, I don't. You can give me a milkshake, and I will gladly take it and drink it.
Okay, and if I throw it to you like a
fascist, if I see them before I finish it.
So if I toss a milkshake to you like a football and you catch it, that's okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I would probably prefer it pitched underhand because it seems like
you gotta do like a Frosty from Wendy's, so it's like pretty like thick
with a lid on it in a travel mug.
Allison, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at WRITERSERENYTY.
Okay, thank you. And you can find me at Coolslaw COOLSL4W on Twitter. You can find my writing, my reviews on there. You can find Pat's reviews on his Twitter, which you mentioned earlier. And that's going to do it for this week. We will be back next week, same time, same place, with another episode of the Gaming Fyx podcast. Bring you all the latest information.
That was so audible.
It was very loud.
What's the aroma on that? Like
a granola bar.
Oh, okay. We'll be bringing you all the latest information on Baby Daddy for the Switch next week. And Pat will be giving us a floor report from PAX on Baby Daddies.
Yeah, for sure. I'll keep an eye out.
All right.
Very
Thanks
common.
for joining us.
Yeah, very common.
All right.
Goodbye, everybody.
Later,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.